Welcome back to Power Panel 365. This is your host, Star Coates, and tonight I will be reading a story from the Children's Bible Stories, and the name of this story is called Pharaoh's Dream. I hope that you are resting, you are comfortable in your beds, you have brushed your teeth and washed your face, and even if you're not ready, I hope you get ready real soon. Once again, the name of this story is called Pharaoh's Dream. 2 years went by, and still Joseph remained locked away in the round tower, waiting to be freed. It seemed he had been forgotten, not only by the chief butler, but by everyone. One night, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile River when suddenly 7 sleek, fat cows came up out of the river and started grazing on the land. Next, Pharaoh saw 7 more cows looking very thin and scraggy come up out of the river and stand among the 7 fat cows. Then the thin cows started to fight the fat ones and ate them all up. The dream faded away, and Pharaoh awoke deeply troubled. And when he had the second dream, 7 full ripe ears of wheat were growing on one stalk, and immediately behind them were 7 more ears of wheat, empty and shriveled up by the wind. The empty ears seemed to swallow up the full ones. And again Pharaoh awoke and was afraid. When morning came, he called together all the magicians and the wise men of Egypt. He told them about his dream, but not one of them could tell him what they meant. Then Pharaoh's chief butler suddenly remembered about Joseph, and he told Pharaoh how Joseph had interpreted their dreams when he and the chief baker had been in prison, and how he had quite correctly predicted life for one of them and death for the other. Pharaoh was impressed by this and sent for Joseph at once. He was brought out of the round tower and taken to court. When he had listened to Pharaoh's dream, he said, "These 2 dreams are really one dream. God has told Pharaoh that what he intends to do. The 7 fat cows represent 7 years. And 7 full ears of wheat mean the same 7 years. These will be years of plenty. The 7 thin cows also mean 7 years, and the empty ears of wheat, those same. This means that there will be 7 years of good harvest and of great wealth. And then there will be 7 years of drought and famine when nothing will grow, and your animals will starve, and the whole land of Egypt will lie in ruins." Because God will set on this, it will be as well for you to lay in stores against these years of famine by appointing overseers and marshals in every part of the land to gather and store 1/5 of every crop to feed you in the poor years. You must build new granaries and storehouses, and they must be well guarded. This is the only way you will have enough food for the people during these years of famine. Only in this way you can save Egypt. Pharaoh was amazed at the way Joseph interpreted his dreams, and also at the wise advice he gave. He said to Joseph, "Since it is God who has made these things known to you, you are obviously possessed of unusually great wisdom and powers, beyond those of other men. I appoint you to be in charge of my household, and all my people will do as you command. I hereby give you authority and power over the whole of Egypt." Pharaoh took off his royal signet ring and put it on Joseph's finger to show that he was to be his viceroy. Then he set for fine clothes for Joseph to wear and hung a golden chain of office around his neck. He gave him, his viceroy, chariot to travel about in, and men would cry, "Make way!" When they saw him coming, Pharaoh also gave Joseph an Egyptian woman to be his wife, and a new Egyptian name. Then God sent the Egyptian people 7 years of rich and fruitful harvest, and Joseph had the grain gathered and stored in the cities. Great granaries were especially built to house it until the grain was piled far and wide like the sand on the seashore beyond all counting. When the 7 years of plenty had ended, they were followed, as Joseph had foretold, by 7 years of famine. And there was famine in every country of the world, but Egypt alone was prepared for it and had enough grain to store to feed its people. And therefore the famine had ended. People from all over the world had come to Joseph in Egypt to buy wheat from him. I hope you like that story. May you have a good night and rest well, and may the Lord bless you.